Now in today's video, I'm going to show you all the signs that a woman will give you when she has high interest, okay? And you have to pay very close attention because these are the instances where men screw this up and blow this the most. And since they typically will completely screw up all of these interactions, what happens is you take women who you had very high attraction to, they had very high attraction to you, there was mutual chemistry, and then because you didn't lay your cards right, what will tend to happen is these interactions will crumble the quickest. So stick with me until the end of this because this video will truly change your life. Now today's MBT Celeb Spotlight before we begin is from Matt. He goes, Casey, I want to take a second to thank you for this. He goes, with no hesitation at all, I sat my ass down next to two girls, struck up a conversation, didn't have to put any effort in, and the words just flowed like water. This has been a game changer. So guys, once this video presentation is done today, I want you to go down below, hit the link in the description, you check out the MBT Masculine Behavioral Technique full-length webinar that I put together for you. It is incredible. Okay, this video is very important. This is every sign that a woman has high interest in you, and these are the easiest ones to mess up, and the reason being is because she's going into this viewing you as probably alpha. She's going into this with eyes for you as if somebody she probably wants to have sexual compatibility with. She's viewing this as in a romantic time or a romantic term with you, and these are the quickest ones that most guys screw up. So let me give you some narrative so that way you don't make any of these mistakes most guys make. What you need to do and what you want to do when you're interacting with all women is you have to understand that you're optimizing your masculine frame to obtain female cooperation and compliance. Like, just read that one more time and think how deep that is. You're optimizing masculine frame to obtain female cooperation and compliance. Why do I have cooperation in red? Because the way that you know if a woman is high interest is if she has high amounts of cooperation. Cooperation is a woman's way of saying yes. Women will create turmoil and make you jump through hoops and ladders if you let them. Now, one of the fastest ways that you can screen out women with low interest from high interest very quick is women who are extremely cooperative, you know, have high interest in meeting you. So here's what you have to know about going into this though. Just because she gives you this default cooperation doesn't mean that you're in the clear yet, and here's why. Women look to disqualify men. Okay, when I say disqualify men, what I'm telling you is from the time you say hello on that first date, from the time you say, how's your day going? What she's doing instantly is she's always finding ways to now start to be uncooperative, meaning that the tests that she's going to put you through is going to determine if she stays in this cooperative frame or not. A woman's emotions and perceptions and identity of a man literally can change hour for hour based on your behavior. I would even say minute for minute, depending on what you do. So she's going into this with high hopes. She has high cooperation for you because she's hoping that you are that alpha that you're probably appearing that you are. However, what she's doing as women look to disqualify men is she's looking for ways to be uncooperative. When I talk about disqualifying men, here's the difference between how men and women show up on a date. A guy will show up on a date and he goes, man, you know, I'm not super attracted to her, but you know, goddamn, that hourglass figure, that ass does it for me. Okay, you are qualifying her, giving reasons to say yes. Okay, women look to disqualify you. Meaning, oh, he makes $1 million and he just pulled up in this Corvette. Nah, you know, he's really muscular and has a six-pack, but he's only 5'11". Okay, that's how women look at things. So keep this in mind. Women are not naturally submissive or compliant or cooperative. See, this is one of the biggest misconceptions that most men have. Most men think that just because you are masculine and you're a leader or you have masculine frame, that those are tendencies that you display 24/7. Men oftentimes assume that women display those exact same feminine characteristics, and it's not true. Women, especially today, reserve these traits only for select men that they deem as good enough. So you have to understand this because these are the things when you're looking at a woman who is cooperative, who is showing up on the date on time, there's very quick ways that most men make this go south. So high interest women, okay, what they do going into these interactions is they grant men this default respect until proven otherwise. What is the default respect? The default respect is her cooperation and her compliance entering into your frame, meaning her behavior's on point, she returns text promptly, she shows up, she's good to you. Okay, read this one more time because it's very important. High interest women grant men, meaning they give men the permission. High interest women grant men this default respect until proven otherwise. What dictates if it's proven otherwise? It's going to be her tests. Why do women test? Women test so that way they can get a clear understanding of your SMV, your sexual market value. The reason why women have to test is because she wants to gauge how other women view you as well. See, a woman doesn't know going into a date if you're pre-selected or not. What a woman's going to do is she's going to test to see how you measure up to those tests. So just because she has a fixed identity of you going into it that you're probably an alpha, what's going to happen is she's going to run you through a series of tests, and depending on if you pass or fail them, is going to dictate how her behavior is otherwise. So 100% of the time, she's searching for reasons to not act this way. Meaning the cooperative, compliant behavior you're getting, what she's doing 100% of the time, not 99% of the time, not 98% of the time, 100% of the time, the woman is searching for reasons to no longer give you that respect. That's what women do. So what she does is she shit tests in the beginning. Once sex happens or once an attachment's been formed, then it goes to booty whipping tests to see how emotionally weak this man is for her. Glad we got this out of the way, because you have to understand this. You're optimizing your masculine frame to obtain female cooperation. Now, what does this actually look like? What does a sign of a high interest woman look like? The first thing it's going to look like is through texting and through communication, it's going to look like yes commitment. Meaning, do you want to go out on a date? Yes. Can I get your phone number? Yes, here it is. Yes commitment is a woman's way of saying, hey, this booty's all yours right now for the time being. Please don't fuck up. Please don't prove me wrong. Please don't show otherwise. Please show me that you're an emotionally stable, stoic man who doesn't act like a goofball. Please tell me that you have respect for yourself and you're going to pass my test by being able to stand up to me. Okay, she's going to give you this yes commitment in the beginning. This is what high interest looks like. What that means is if you go on a date, she's going to show up on time. She might even be 2 to 5 minutes early because she wants to really show you that she's invested and that she cares. She replies to text promptly. Okay, she's willing to set dates. When you set a date, she doesn't give you the runaround of possibly, maybe, let me see, let me check my calendar, maybe this day will work depending on if I have this going on. They are not dumb at all. Women are very smart, and women are so far ahead of the game right now compared to most men just from the sheer experience and volume of interactions that they've had through Instagram, dates, cold approach, in person. Like, you gotta realize that women are very far ahead. So she sets dates promptly. If she sets dates promptly, okay, you're going to realize that she has very high interest, but this is the golden ticket right here, and I put a star by this one. If you notice that she pursues you back, even in the smallest of ways, even in the smallest, tiniest ways, this is a woman with sky-high interest. Women today are taught to do virtually none of the pursuing. Women today are also taught to make a man chase their approval and chase their validation in the beginning. So what a woman, okay, is going to do in the beginning, if she has very high interest, is she's going to pursue you back. A simple check-in like, how's your morning? Or good morning? Or how did that interview at work go? Okay, this right here, even in the smallest ways, is going to show a woman has high interest. When I say pursues you back, that means she's initiating contact. If she initiates contact first, you have a woman who has sky-high interest, which means she's probably aiming to even sleep with you on dates probably 1, 2, or 3, depending on if you don't fuck up. So don't fuck up. Here's what I can tell you. When she initiates contact, okay, via random convo, this is another way that you can see that she has high interest. When I say initiates contact via random convo, random conversation, if she randomly throughout the middle of the day, middle of the weekend, she sends you some stupid text like, I just watched a movie today, or me and my girlfriends are going here. This is like a side conversation that didn't have to be said. But what she's trying to do is she's trying to fill you in on her life. She's trying to just find a reason to talk to you. Yeah, you better believe this woman has sky-high interest. And see, these are the fastest ways to fuck it up, and I'm going to explain why. Now, before I can tell you how men screw it up and why these are the fastest ones to screw up, here's what high interest isn't, okay? High interest for a woman is not compliments, meaning that if she's ever going to tell you like how hot you are or how handsome you are, this is a very big red flag. High interest for a woman is not compliments. High interest for a woman is not telling you how handsome or how good looking you are. Okay, it's also never going to be boosting your ego. If you see a woman demonstrate these things, this is going to be some serious signs of manipulation, and this woman is probably trying to get something from you. Women don't typically talk like this or operate like this. Men oftentimes, especially men who are weaker, okay, or not even weaker, but men who just don't necessarily understand what women respond to, men will compliment a woman on their beauty. Men will give general compliments on personality. However, here's what I can tell you. If you see a woman doing this, this is not typical behavior. If you see this, your guard should probably go up a little bit because you don't necessarily know what this type of woman's intentions are. Now, I told you what high interest looks like. Now I have to show you how guys fuck this up. Because going into interactions or into relationships with women, your logical brain, since you're a man, like logic, like 1 + 1 is 2, okay? Girl texts you, girl texts me promptly, I should text back myself promptly. Logical brain, yes, okay? Bad idea. Your logical brain tells you if she has high interest, you should have high interest. Your logical brain is going to put one word in your head. And that word that your logical brain as a man is going to put in your head is going to be the word reciprocation. You're going to think, well, hey, since she now has high interest in me, I should reciprocate that to prove to the queen that my interest is just as high, so that way she doesn't lose interest. If you operate like this, I can tell you this is the fastest way to destroy a woman's interest. So they match, okay, what a man does, how he fucks it up, is they match the woman's high interest with his high interest. So they think she's showing me certainty that she likes me. I need to show her certainty that I like her, and vice versa. This is the fastest way to screw this up. And the reason why this is the fastest way to screw this up is because hypergamy becomes less satisfied. What does that mean? A woman wants to date up, meaning she wants to look up to a man. And I'm not talking about that she wants to date up on paper, meaning she makes 55 grand a year and you make 155 grand a year. So she looks at you and says, yes, your highness, or yes, your majesty. That's not what hypergamy is. Hypergamy is a feeling, meaning the confidence, the attitude, the demeanor, and your willingness to be indifferent to the woman dictates her attraction level towards you. Don't get this twisted. If she has high interest, that doesn't mean your interest needs to come way up here. Does it mean you pursue her back accordingly? Okay, and normal? Yes, but it does not mean you raise it just as high as hers is, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. When you start to pursue or over pursue or match her interests, hypergamy is now less satisfied, which means you're male, and like, keep in mind, I don't fault any of you for doing this. I don't fault any of you for doing this. Throughout all of my early 20s, I made all of these mistakes, which is why I can tell you that these are the things that men do, because men are not typically taught these things, and these are what your logical brain is going to tell you. Like your logical brain, like just take women out of the equation for a second. You got your best friend named Frank. Frank invites you on Saturday to go get a beer, okay? Frank also pays for your beer. Now what you're going to do is next Saturday, you probably feel like since you should be good to Frank, since Frank was good to you, you think reciprocation. Now you're going to go ask Frank to get a beer first since he asked you first. And now guess what's going to happen is you're probably going to pay for Frank's beer because Frank paid for your beer. That's how men operate. Reciprocation. That's your logical brain. Do not let that get the best of you when you're operating with women. Hypergamy becomes less satisfied. So I don't fault any of you for thinking like this or doing this, because you need to go through the dirt. Like, I don't care if you're a high income earner. I don't care if you're good looking. I don't care if you're tall. Men are made. And if you don't go through turmoil and if you don't go through issues in your life, it's going to be very hard to actually know what to do, because the only way that you know what to do is through trials, tribulations, wisdom, and experience. So now that we got that out of the way, here's what men do to screw this up. Her interest goes up, or she has high interest, and now they text more. Okay, and when they text more, not only do they text more quickly, but now they're going to add more fluff to it. They're going to add more exclamation marks to it. They're going to add more question marks to it. They're going to add more winky faces to it. They're going to add more blush emojis to it. They're going to add kissy faces to it. You're going to add memes to it. She sent you a TikTok, so goddamn it, you're going to go send her a TikTok. You know what's going to happen is she sent you a cute picture of her out on a bike ride with two friends. So you know what, the next day you should probably feel like you're going to fill her in something that you're doing. So when you go get coffee in the morning, you're going to take a picture of your coffee and say good morning back with a picture. This is the shit men do, because men don't know. And I laugh because like we've all been there before, because guys guys don't know. So what they do is they add more fluff to it. And then her fluff goes up for a little bit, right, a couple weeks, and she thinks this is fun, but it's going to get boring very quick, and you're going to watch this fizzle out, and guys will call more. And then what you're going to do is you're going to try to set more dates, and you're going to set these dates quicker. And then on top of that, you're going to check in more. So this is what guys do, is since her interest was high, and she was checking in on you, now all of a sudden you start checking in on her. How was your night? How was your day? How was your vacation? How was your concert? How was your rock and roll festival? How was your EDM concert? How was the movie? How was the walk in the park? Like all of this shit men do, they check in more, and guess what? Now she starts to hate him. Now she hates him because hypergamy is no longer satisfied. Okay, she was originally looking up to the man. Now what's happened is that man has now brought herself to her level psychologically, and now he's starting to reciprocate the same behavior until now she's going to feel as if she was put on the pedestal, and now she's going to look down on the man. Now this is reversed. Now he's no longer a mystery. Now he's no longer a chase. Now he's boring, and now she's going to exit. And this will happen at any height, this will happen at any income level, this will happen at any status, and this will happen at any amount of followers or blue check marks on Instagram. I don't care if you have 5 million Instagram followers and you have tons of girls going after you. The second you could have so many girls after you, but the second you find like a girl like you're very attracted to and she's reciprocating, a lot of that goes out the window because your male brain that's logistical kicks in. And see, men are builders, and men like to see ROI, return on investment of things. So guess what's going to happen? If you see that you're putting a lot of time in on your body in the gym, you're going to want to make sure that your physique yields that return. If you're putting a lot of time in on your business, you're going to want to make sure that, you know, your business yields that return. However, when a man sees that a woman's putting a lot of time into him, he wants to make sure that he sticks that out, okay? Make sure that he gets that return, which means he puts equal or more effort into it. And this is the fastest way to screw up the whole thing. That is your logical brain took over as a man. She's going to be operating out of emotion. She's going to look down on you. She's going to feel as if she's now on the pedestal. The roles have been reversed and she now hates you. So you have to understand this because guys screw these up so quickly. Like ask any guy, every single guy that has had a woman that he hasn't had super certain, like he didn't have high enough interest in the beginning of the woman in the beginning or the middle or the end. You're going to notice that you get highest cooperation and compliance because she's chasing your approval. Okay, then if you see personality traits that you like out of a woman, you're going to probably adapt your game, and then that's where guys fuck up, and they don't even see it. So keep this in mind. So you might be wondering, okay, this makes sense. I understand, like, these are the signs that a woman has when she views you as high interest. Now, how do I actually pursue her, Casey? Like, how do I make sure I pursue this the correct way so I don't fuck up? I'm going to explain. What you're doing, okay, when you're pursuing a woman back or when she has high interest and you don't want her to lose that high interest is you're always optimizing to satisfy hypergamy. That does not just mean your own self-improvement grind, if you want to call it that. That doesn't mean your own materialistic status and success on paper. I'm talking about the feeling that you give the woman. How do you give that feeling to the woman? Okay? She needs to still look up to you, which means if you reverse these roles, she is not going to look up to you in a very short amount of time. So, how do you do this? You pursue her back, but you pursue her back slowly. So a good example of this, and this isn't written in stone where it's like, this is the way, but this is a good rule of thumb. A good rule of thumb is going to be 2 to 1, okay? 2 to 1 means, let's say she says good morning, okay? The next day, or a couple days after, you might text her good morning. That's a 1 to 1. She said it first, now you said it first, okay? Now maybe you skip a time, okay? Maybe she says it, good morning again, you don't say it the next time. You get what I'm saying? 2 to 1. So that would be a good example. Like her good morning text would be 2 to your 1 back as far as initiating contact first of who said it. That's just one example. Okay, there's numerous other examples, but the key with this, see, these are rules that are more or less meant to be learned and internalized, not written down on a sheet of paper where you're operating this out of tactics. Like you just have to understand how to make a woman look up to you. A good rule of thumb would be like, you're maybe setting 1 date per week. You're not trying to see the woman 2, 3, 4 times in a row, all in the same week. You're not over pursuing back and thinking that you need to satisfy that urgency that she seems to appear that she has. Not only that, you're using the phone mainly just to set dates, and you're removing the fluff from those text messages. You remove the exclamation marks, you remove the emojis, you have it pretty direct and to the point as far as getting to the point of where the date is going. And what you also want to do is you want to slowly let your unavailability raise her interest, meaning you should be doing things. You should be going to the gym. You should be working on yourself. You should be improving your finances. Okay, if you guys are texting back and forth, and let's say you text 4 texts back and forth, hey, what's up, blah, 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 bam, 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 4 texts go by, maybe the next text you take 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to reply. Let that unavailability raise her interest. So what happens as your unavailability raises her interest is her tension builds only through your time apart. See, men fall in love through bonding. The more time you spent cuddled up on a couch with a woman for prolonged months or years in a row, the more you have an attachment. Women's tension and love only grows in time apart. So when she thinks these things, like, what's he doing? When am I going to get to see him again next? Okay, I wonder what he's doing right now. I wonder when the next date's going to be. I wonder if I'll ever see him again. When's he going to call me? Is he going to call me? This is the tension that makes a woman fall in love. So what I can tell you is you still need to pursue her, and you still pursue her back so she doesn't think that you're some cold-hearted asshole that doesn't have any interest in her at all, because that's going to turn her off. She's going to feel like that's a straight-up rejection. But what you do need to do is you need to just pursue her back slowly, and you need to calm down. See, this is where you got to understand, a woman falls in love probably only after like 3 to probably 6 months of prolonged, talking to a guy and getting to know him. And just because she has sexual interest or she's sexually interested in you doesn't mean she loves you or that she's attached. You need to calm your ass down. Let this play out the way it needs to over the course of days, weeks, months, and years, if you choose to go down the road of a long-term commitment with a woman, okay, and you pursue her back, okay, but not to the point where you reciprocate that high interest where it turns her off, okay? She needs to feel some interest, but not so much to the point where she now looks at you like lower value than her. So this is the way that most men screw up, okay, a high interest woman. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to check out that MBT Masculine Behavioral Technique webinar below, and we'll see you in the next one.